Before the video begins, I will warn you that there will be spoilers for the third Sonic movie in this video. If you don't want to be spoiled, please do not watch this video. If you don't care, then by all means, be my guest. Anyways, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and enjoy the video.
Hello, hi, what's the dealio? It's been quite a while since I uploaded here, and now I am back. Today, I am going to be talking about the third Sonic movie, and my exact thoughts on it. When I first saw the first movie, I thought it was pretty good. It was just a simple introduction movie to what will become the Sonic movie trilogy. I just thought it was very cute, and it did a very good job of establishing itself and its world, clearly showing that this isn't exactly the world from the OG Sonic universe, but its own thing. You also had Jim Carrey playing Dr. Robotnik, which I thought was awesome. The dude was clearly made for the role, and he did such an amazing job. Just overall, in my mind, the first movie was just a 7 out of 10. Nothing too amazing, nor nothing too bad. It was just pretty okay. However, the second movie blew itself out of the water entirely. The action scenes in that movie were super sick. The pacing was nice. I loved how Tails and Sonic's relationship was established, and the ending battle was sick as hell. And I could just go on and on about that movie. It was just super awesome. So when I saw the trailer for the third movie, I was incredibly hyped. You know I was going to be sitting in that theater and watching this third installment. Are you kidding me? Especially with my favorite Sonic character appearing in this movie. I just could not miss this. Especially when that character is being voiced by Keanu freaking Reeves. Ultimately, I went to the theater and watched the movie. So, what did I think? It was pretty great. I mean, this movie had a lot of amazing, elements, but it just had one big major problem. One that genuinely just could not escape my mind throughout the movie. But before we get into that big issue, let me explain the plot, and then I will get into the positives, and then finally, I will get into that one major problem with this movie. To explain the basic plot and story, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles are called in by Gun to stop a recent escapee, Shadow the Hedgehog, who is wreaking havoc in Tokyo. However, Shadow is way too powerful, so he beats up the main three in battle. Realizing that they can't use the power of friendship this time, they try to find some answers from the commander of Gun. The commander reveals Shadow's edgy, emo, and sad backstory, and how he never found love, joy, and happiness in his life. So, the commander explains that his powers can threaten humanity. But just as he finishes explaining, Dr. Robotnik's drones launch an attack, leading the commander to die. Before passing, he gives Sonic and his buddies a key card to a powerful weapon, one that only they can be trusted to keep. Sonic and his buddies then become a bit sus of Gun, which leads to Sonic and his team teaming up with Robotnik, discovering that he was not the one who sent the drones. That's pretty much the basic synopsis of things. The story then becomes more complex as we meet our next main villain, Gerald Robotnik. Turns out that Gerald used Eggman's drones to lure him to a secret facility so they can reunite. Obviously, Eggman, being his usual naive and silly self, betrays the Sonic team and joins forces with Shadow and Gerald. But relatively, Eggman refuses to see that Gerald is tricking him for an even more evil plan. Because at first, Gerald lies to Robotnik, telling him that he needs access to the powerful weapon to destroy Gun. But obviously, the truth is just much worse, because once they gain access to the destructive weapon, which is the Eclipse Cannon, Gerald reveals his evil plan to destroy the Earth in an act of revenge for the death of his granddaughter, Maria, who was unfortunately killed by Gun. This is also why he was using Shadow, because Shadow has the powers to recharge this Eclipse Cannon. And together, in their grief, Gerald and Shadow use the Eclipse Cannon to destroy humanity in revenge of Maria. They do not care that they will also die as well, showing how much Maria's death has taken a toll on not just Gerald, but Shadow as well. Meanwhile, Sonic becomes supersonic and fights with Shadow. The battle then gets cool and intense when Shadow becomes Super? Christ, oh my god. The battle then gets cool and intense when Shadow becomes Super Shadow, taking the fight to an even greater level. Sonic is about to kill Shadow on the moon, but then he realizes what he's about to do and says, "No bro, revenge is bad." Shadow, understanding things a bit better, is like, "Damn, you're right, Sonic. Maybe Maria wouldn't want me to end the Earth after all, and end all of humanity. Let's team up and end this once and for all." The two then team up for an epic gamer battle against Gerald's robots, eventually pushing the Eclipse Cannon's beam away from Earth. Also, Gerald dies by a fart. Oh my god, this movie. In the end, both Robotnik and Shadow make the ultimate sacrifice to save the planet, with the Eclipse Cannon exploding, and Sonic and his friends save the day. And that's the movie. Since this movie had a lot of heart and soul put into it, I want to give the people who made this movie credit where credit is due. So first, I'm going to go through all the positives of this movie and what I liked about it, because I'm going to feel really bad tearing into it in the next section, but honestly though, they still deserve a round of applause for the final product. First of all, the dynamic between Gerald and Robotnik was hilarious and full of goofy moments. I loved seeing them interact and see what silly hijinks they would get into next. Jim Carrey killed it in both roles and brought his humor and energy to both of the characters, so good job for him. My favorite part of the Robotnik family was when they danced in that laser trap, which was really hilarious. Again, good job for Jim Carrey. Honestly, one of the best parts of this movie. The spy mission scene with Tom, Maddie, and the gang was also really charming and kinda well executed. More on that later, by the way. I loved seeing Tom and Maddie use holograms, and I also liked the intense scene where almost everyone was trying to reach the second key card to the weapon. The traps, like the floating and sudden falls, added to the intensity of the situation and made the entire thing more entertaining for me. You also had Shadow, which without a doubt was one of my favorite parts of the movie. They handled his backstory kinda well, and his battle scenes were extremely badass. The final encounter between Shadow and Sonic was epic. I went absolutely berserk when they both transformed into their super forms. Like, holy shit. The team on this movie did an amazing job with the CGI effects of this, and the battle just ending on the moon with a pep talk was just absolutely beautiful and pretty amazing writing. Again, the team for this movie went all out on this scene, and I gotta give them the praise, dude. The battle between Sonic and Shadow alongside Gerald's robots in space was sick. Seeing them push back the Eclipse Cannon's ray was also pretty stunning. Honestly, everything about the ending was just enthralling, and it was the best part of the movie. Now, while the movie had many good things, I unfortunately had one big issue with this movie. My one problem with this movie? The pacing. Yes, the pacing. The battles were great, Robotnik and Gerald were great, Shadow as a whole was good, Sonic and his buddies were fun, but holy sh**. Watching the movie having to juggle all of these things at the same time was absolute torture. My god, my brain was almost to the point of getting fried. Oh, and this isn't the only thing with the pacing. On top of that, everything went by super fast, which is not good because I did not get too emotionally attached to these stories. Let's take Shadow as an example. The movie does sprinkle in a sort of montage of Shadow's time with Maria. But here's the issue. The movie rushes through it. It's why the scene with him and Maria under the stars was not as impactful for me, because I feel like we needed a bit more room to breathe regarding knowing Maria as a character. Look, My knowledge of the Sonic lore is abysmal, to say the least, so bear with me, because this is what I got from research. In the Sonic games, Maria suffers from a terminal illness, so Gerald was super motivated to work with Gunn in the first place in hopes of finding a cure. It also explains why Maria in the games is stuck in a space facility, because she has this illness, and it's why she and Shadow had such a huge attachment and bond to each other, because they felt like they were the only thing both had. The movie does do this, but in the movie universe, Maria doesn't suffer from a terminal illness, which is fine, by the way. I get the movie's trying to be more PG for the child audience, and also the movies want to do their own thing as well, but even if she doesn't have a terminal illness, can we at least get more scenes about some inner conflicts she may have? We already know she misses the outside world, but I would have liked to know more if Maria missed more family members, friends, or other people, you know? Don't just rush through it. Did Maria have some conflicts with Gerald? There are just so many things you can work around with her. Things the audience can use to get more attached to Maria. It's also why Gerald almost destroying the Earth and himself was not as impactful to me either. I don't know the relationship between Maria and Gerald. We know he felt an attachment to her because she was his granddaughter, but there was more they could have done here. Another example is while I did love the relationships between Gerald and Robotnik and Sonic and his gang, I also did not get full attachments to them in this movie. The attachment was already there for Sonic and his gang because I watched the last two movies, but with Robotnik and Gerald, it was not easy to get me to care about them, you know? Don't get me wrong though, I loved the Robotniks because of their silly shenanigans and stupid fun. Like, come on, who wouldn't love that? But to get emotionally attached to them? No, not really. It's why the reveal that he was using Robotnik to destroy the world felt kind of rushed. I mean, obviously, it was obvious he was using him, but I thought they would give us more time for it to hit in the feels. But there wasn't that much of a build up to it. Overall, this movie has lots of amazing elements I enjoyed, but the pacing is just extremely frustrating, and I wish the movie had a bit slower pacing to flesh other concepts and stories out. But hey, at least it was worth it watching it in the theater. That is something that I do not regret. Also, Maria does not get shot. I repeat, Maria does not get shot. This is such a sad day, guys. Oh my god, Maria did not get shot. Okay. Before the video ends, I want to talk about the post-credit scenes. If you saw the ending of the movie, it was revealed that there will be a fourth Sonic movie. The next bad guy? Metal Sonic. And holy sh**, his design was so cool in the ending. I am super hyped to see what comes next. Amy was also revealed, which I am very much hyped for as well. I am sure we're going to see some badass stuff with her, but that wasn't the only post-credit scene from that movie. There is also a second post-credit scene after that one that reveals Shadow survived his sacrifice with the Eclipse Cannon. Now, while I am excited about the prospect of more Shadow content with these movies, I am a little scared. See, now we got Shadow, Amy, Tails, Knuckles, and Sonic in the mix, and that's a bit worrying. How the are these movies going to handle all of these characters? Will they even be able to do it? Because as we saw here, they tried this and somewhat failed. In my opinion, they got to sit out Shadow for at least most of the fourth movie, because having all of these characters throughout the whole run would be an absolute nightmare. So they can at least give Amy's character some time to breathe. And now with Eggman gone, we can have more development and stories with these characters, therefore making them more coherent and cohesive. This is a hot take, but after this, I hope they do not add any more characters to this movie series, because I think this main cast is enough for now, and having way too many characters is going to become even more insane, and I do not want that. Look, I get it, a lot of people want to see their favorite characters in this series, like Silver and Rouge, but like, will it be to the betterment of the movies? That's like my big question. Also, another hot take, do not add Rouge to these movies. I do not want any Gooners in the despite my fears, I will still see the fourth movie no matter what, because I am completely obsessed with this franchise. I will always be one of those people who will continuously watch these movies to see what comes next, even if it's good or bad, or just flawed. I just really, really wish this movie franchise the best in the future. And hey, even if I had some problems with this movie, I still think you should recommend it to your friends and family. There is a lot of good things to get out of this movie, so I highly recommend you still spread the word while you can. Anyway, what did you guys think of the third Sonic movie? Did you guys love it? Do you guys disagree with me? Have other thoughts? What did you guys think of the post-credit scenes? And for hardcore Sonic fans, is there some things I got wrong? Is there some things that you noticed that I didn't as someone who's not really that big of a fan? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button while on the way out. And please make sure to have a good day and night. Bye bye!